You're tuned in to Pyrocryptic X News, daily crypto coverage on the networks that matter. XRP, XLM, XDC, and many others. Let's get into it.
Crypto Flash. We're seeing Jay Clayton heading to the SDNY thanks to a Trump power play.
That's the headline buzzing today, April 23rd, 2025.
So is this a real shift coming for crypto regulation, or maybe just, a familiar face in a potentially more powerful spot?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Forget the quick takes online. This is Pyrocryptic News, and we're here to break down what this actually means for your crypto strategy.
We really need to look beyond the surface here.
Okay, so let's get into it. Jay Clayton, appointed U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. What's the immediate reaction?
Well, the first thing that jumps out is how it happened. Reports say President Trump used a procedural move.
Meaning no Senate confirmation.
Exactly. Bypassed the usual process, which, immediately makes you wonder about the strategy behind it, maybe how long Clayton will even be in that seat. Is it temporary? Is it strategic?
It does create a bit of a head-scratcher, doesn't it? Because on one hand, you have President Trump talking about, easing up on crypto.
Yeah, suggesting maybe fewer enforcement actions, a generally friendlier vibe.
Right. But then he appoints the guy who, as SEC chair, went after Ripple. That was arguably the biggest enforcement action we've seen.
It's a definite contradiction, or at least it looks like one on the surface. And it really highlights this complex dance between crypto and politics that's intensifying.
So the industry is influential enough now that someone like Clayton gets this kind of role.
It certainly seems to suggest that. The sector's political weight is growing, no doubt.
But it raises a big question for everyone involved in crypto, right? Can you actually rely on people who were, not that long ago, seen as, antagonists?
That's the core tension. And you have to remember, Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO, he was very, very critical of Clayton.
Especially about the timing of that lawsuit, just as Clayton was leaving the SEC.
Exactly. That history is, let's say, baggage. It adds a whole other layer here.
Does it? Or could you maybe argue the opposite? That his SEC's experience gives him a unique perspective now.
Well, that's the counter-argument, isn't it? Maybe his deep understanding of the SEC's playbook means he'd approach things differently from the SDNY prosecutor's chair.
And he has criticized Gary Gensler's approach since leaving the SEC, hasn't he?
He has, which might suggest his own thinking on crypto regulation has perhaps evolved, or at least he sees issues with the current approach.
So if you're holding digital assets, trying to figure this out, what's the practical takeaway? The person behind a major crypto lawsuit now has significant enforcement power in a key district.
And even though the political signals point one way toward being more lenient, Clayton's actual record introduces a big dose of uncertainty.
You just can't ignore his history with the Ripple case.
Absolutely not. Ultimately, this whole situation just underscores how volatile things are and how much politics is shaping the rules for crypto in the U.S.
It's a clear sign that the dynamics are changing, and crypto definitely has more political clout than it used to.
No question.
Okay, let's crystallize this for everyone listening. Key point 1. Jay Clayton, former SEC chair, the architect of the Ripple lawsuit, is now acting U.S. attorney for the SDNY.
And critically, appointed by President Trump using a procedural shortcut, bypassing the Senate confirmation. That's important context.
Key point 2. There's this tension. President Trump has signaled a softer stance on crypto, maybe fewer crackdowns.
Yeah, but Clayton's appointment seems to, run counter to that, given his SEC actions against Ripple. Plus, his more recent critiques of Gensler add another wrinkle. It's complex.
And finally, point 3. This definitely shows crypto's growing political influence. Getting someone with Clayton's profile into this job is significant.
But, and this is a big but, it forces you to ask hard questions about who you can trust in the political arena, especially when figures like Clayton have drawn such sharp criticism from industry leaders before.
Like Garlinghouse's comments.
Precisely. Which leads us to the thought we want to leave you with today.
Can industry really build a stable future, relying on figures who were once central to its biggest regulatory battles?
What does this appointment truly signal about where crypto regulation and enforcement are headed in the U.S.? Is it a genuine shift or something else entirely?
And maybe most importantly for you, how do you prepare for whatever comes next in this evolving landscape?
Lots to think about. This has been Pyrocryptic News. Stay informed, stay critical.
That's it for today on Pyrocryptic X News. Stay sharp, stay informed, and catch the next drop right here.